Okay, here I am with this Necchi. This is a Mira. It is the original, made in Italy. It does have the Wonder Wheel with the white disc, though it is damaged a little bit. The machine looks to be in good condition. There's not any surface rust that I can see. The powder coating is in good shape. There is signs of wear in some of the spots here along the thread path and then right along the edge of the case. The case itself, of course, is also in a little bit of disrepair, but not bad. This machine worked when the shop got it in, but when someone went to purchase it about 6 months later, they plugged it in at the register and they could not get it to work, is what they said. They think that there's something wrong with the motor. I don't know if that's true or not. But I said I would take a look, and at very, very minimum, I could at least tell them whether it's something that can be saved or not. The machine does look dirty, and I know it hasn't been used in quite a while, so that might also be contributing to the issues. The needle plate was not fastened down in any way. I was able to just pull it right off. I also pulled out the bobbin case and the bobbin, which were not properly seated, but they are the correct bobbin and bobbin case. Other than that, we're going to open it up in a second and see how it looks on the inside. I just want to document there. Tension's on a 3. And some signs of lint and debris, some thread stuck in the housing there. I already noted that the Wonder Wheel is a little bit damaged. I read that that's really common. The bobbin tire is in great shape. This is probably new. The belt looks like it's in good shape as well, and when I turn, I do get needle movement, which is a good sign. We also get some reluctant hook movement. There's a little bit of a stick there. So we'll see if we can't clear that out and get that working. Basically what they reported to me is that when the potential buyer plugged it in and turned it on, that they couldn't get any needle movement, and that they felt like the belt was too loose and the motor was damaged. But they wanted somebody to give them an expert opinion, and I said, well, I can at least look at it. So let's go ahead and plug it in and show you what it's doing. Okay, I do want to point out that this machine has all metal pedal, made in Racine, Wisconsin. So that's kind of cool. There's a Band-Aid stuck to the bottom of it. That's not cool. But the cord is flexible. It looks like it's in good shape, and it does plug in really easily. Okay, so with it plugged in, we do have the light turns on, which is great. However, the light switch does not turn off the light. It does not turn on the light. We need to press the pedal. Initially very, very low. Lights go out. motor spins and spins up. Hand wheel makes needle movement. And if I loosen this up, I wonder if it might be as simple as that the clutch is loose. But every time the motor spins, the light goes out, which is weird. And periodically you can get needle movement with the motor if you go real slow. But I can't seem to recreate that. You see it was moving, now it's not. Light goes out when the pedal comes on. And there's a great hunk of debris hanging out there. So again, I'm wondering if we can just clean it out and it'll resolve all the problems. Not sure. Okay, I just tipped the Necchi Mira in upright to take a look under the underside. It looks like this is in good shape. The wires actually feel pretty flexible, but they are really dirty. There is some gunk in there, and what looks like, I don't know if you can see that, some kind of liquid. I don't know if somebody tried oiling or if something is doing something it's not supposed to. We'll have to see what we got when we look on the side panel. Because this should be the lamp cord, so I'm not sure why it is wet. Got some grease, some oil, old oil, some lint and debris. Got quite a bit in there actually. That'll be fun to clean out. And then the cast iron looks like it's in rough shape as well. So we'll get that cleaned up and oiled. And then we've got some more debris. So, again, it doesn't look like it's in terrible shape. So we'll see what we can do. Okay, so I took off the wonder wheel and then loosened these two bolts so that I could slide off the motor and the wiring housing. These braided cables are very stiff. They look intact, just dirty, braided, and soldered there. And there's some corrosion. There's also some corrosion on those pins. Again, they're soldered. And on that pin. And the transformer here is very swollen looking. It just looks very fluffed up. It was actually sitting, you can kind of see right there, it was sitting right up against this. So that's interesting. But other than that, I don't see where it's damaged. Again, the cords are just very dirty. I wiped them down. Didn't see anything frayed or anything like that. Just this guy is very thick. And then we've got some corrosion in there. And I haven't opened the motor case yet. Okay, I just want to make a note that the light blue wire connects with the light, so it goes on this side when I'm ready to reconnect. The darker blue wire goes on this side when I'm ready to reconnect. I want to make sure that I don't get them mixed up. I just realized they look like they're the same color on the video, but trust me, one of them is lighter, one of them is darker. So light goes to light. It's easy to remember. Okay, so I took the motor apart. I redid this connection, and it probably didn't need it, but I added a little bit of electrical tape just because it made me nervous. It was a little bit more frayed than this even. I also cleaned the corrosion off of these nuts and the connectors. I wiped the wire down, each of the wires down. There is a little bit of corrosion on these pins, but the solder looks good. So I'm imagining that that will protect that. I did make it to where this is not touching this. So I think that was one of the issues. We'll see. I also cleaned these wires off and checked there aren't any kinks and frays. There's a little bit of paint on this one here, but it's not damaged. And the ends, I feel like they look fine. There's that one. And this is the one that goes to the light, which, again, I feel like it looks fine. Other than that, I did clean out the housing here, including those little vents, as best as I could. It's hard to get in there. And I did just kind of clean it up a little bit, but not too much because it's hard to get down in there. But again, the connections look solid. The motor was running, so I imagine that it's probably fine. I trimmed some of the loose threads off of this. I think it's supposed to be thread wrapped like that, so I didn't take all the threads off. There's a spot here where there's a little bit of the belt stuck in there, imprinted in there. And there was a little bit of rust in here, but not so much that it impaired function. I cleaned the fan, which was very cruddy. I sanded a little bit of wear off of there, cleaned the commutator, so it's not as grody, and then that pin looks just fine. There we go. So I've got to put everything back together. I have a stack of rings here. This go on that end. A stack of rings here. I know that those go on this end. And then I have these two which I'm not sure where they go. I'll have to look it up. I think they go with those, but I'll have to look at the photo I took. Other than that, I'm going to clean the outside of the motor here, hook everything back up, and see if that fixes what was going on. I hope so. If not, we'll have to ask for help. Okay, I have the motor put back together. Putting the brushes back in, and making sure that the curve side matches the curve of the motor. And once I have that done, I will reconnect the light and we'll see how we do. I removed the access cover, and looks like there was some glue or something holding this there, but it isn't anymore. There's some weird kind of filings maybe there, some old grease, a little bit of grime, but it's not actually that bad. And with the motor unhooked, we've got very, very smooth action. Again, everything on the surface looks in great shape. A little bit of corrosion, a little bit of rust, but not bad given its age. Okay, so I gave the body of the machine a good wipe down while I had the motor off. Put the motor back on, put the belt back on. I did take the clutch off and remove a bunch of thread and detritus from there. I also checked to make sure the belt path was clear. It looks fine. So we're going to plug it in and see how it goes. Okay, so I plugged it in. First thing I'll notice is that the light is not automatically on. Let's try the light switch. No, we're not getting any light. Obviously I need to adjust the motor distance from the wheel, but that is running. No light. Interesting. Okay, so I adjusted these bolts a little bit to change this distance, and now movement, and we get needle action. So now we just have to figure out why the light is suddenly not working. Interesting. To do the test of the straight stitch, the Necchi Mira. I have it on 3 for tension, upper and lower. I have it on 0 for straight stitch, center position, and 2, which is the normal stitch length. And let's finish the row. she did. Okay. Stitches look pretty consistent. But the tension's not quite right. So we'll play with that a little bit.